Alright, welcome to Channel 4 News. Here's the special report on Augustus and his life. Born Gaius Octavius Larunus, he was adopted by his great-uncle Gaius Julius Caesar in 44 BC via his last will and testament, and between then and 27 BC was officially named Gaius Julius Caesar. In 27 BC, the Senate awarded him with the honorific Augustus, which means the revered one, and thus consequently he was Gaius Julius Caesar Augustus. The young Octavius came into his inheritance after Caesar's assassination in 44 BC. In 43 BC, Octavian joined forces with Mark Antony and Marcus Lepidus in a military dictatorship known as the Second Triumvirate. As a triumvir, Octavian ruled Rome and many of its provinces. The triumvirate was eventually torn apart after completing ambitions of its rulers. Lepidus was driven into exile, and Antony committed suicide following his defeat at the Battle of Actium by Octavian's fleet under command of Agrippa in 31 BC. After the demise of the Second Triumvirate, Octavian restored the outward facade of the Roman Republic with the governmental power vested in the Roman Senate, but in practice retained his autocratic power. It took several years to determine the exact framework by which a formally republican state could be led by a sole ruler. The result became known as the Roman Empire. The emperorship was never an office like the Roman dictatorship with Caesar and Sulla had held before him. Indeed, he declined it when the Roman populace entreated him to take on the dictatorship. He was not known as what we would call emperor in his lifetime. Imperator was simply the title given to an unusually successful general, but Augustus was given, among other titles, that of Princeps, the first of citizens. Originally, it had no royal connotations. By law, Augustus held a collection of powers granted to him for life by the Senate, including those of the tribune, of the plebs, and censor. He was consul until 23 BC. His substantive power stemmed from financial success and resources gained in conquest. The building of patronage relationships throughout the empire, the loyalty of many military soldiers and veterans, the authority of many honors granted by the Senate, and the respect of the people. Augustus's control over the majority of Rome's legions established an army threat that could be used against the Senate, allowing him to coerce the Senate's decision. With the ability to eliminate senatorial opposition by means of arms, the Senate became docile towards him. His ruling towards patronage, military power, and accumulation of the offices of the defunct republic became the model for all later imperial governments. The reign of Augustus initiated an era of relative peace known as the Pax Romana, or Roman peace. Despite continuous wars on the frontiers and 1 year-long civil war towards the imperial succession, the Mediterranean would remain at peace for more than 2 centuries. Augustus enlarged the empire dramatically, annexing Egypt, Dalmatia, Pannoria, and Raetia, expanded possessions in Africa, and completed the conquest of Hispania. Beyond the frontiers, he secured the empire with client states and made peace with Parthia through diplomacy. He reformed the Roman system of taxation, developed networks of roads with an official courier system, established a standing army, established the Praetorian Guard, and created official police and firefighting services for Rome. Much of the city was rebuilt under Augustus, and he wrote a record of his own accomplishments, known as the Res Gestre Divi Augusti, which has survived. Upon his death in 14 AD, Augustus was declared a god by the Senate to be worshipped by the Romans. His name Augustus and Caesar were adopted by every subsequent emperor in the 8th month of the Roman calendar, previously named the Sextilis, renamed Augustus in his honor. He was succeeded by his adopted son, Tiberius. And now to Shane. Okay.
Hi, I'm here in Rome at the Colosseum. The Colosseum is a place where gladiators fought to their death for the amusement of the Roman citizens. Other than fights with other people, there were fights with animals. It was created by Emperor Vespasian in AD 72 and then finished by his son Titus in AD 70. The real truth behind the reason the Colosseum was built is because Vespasian wanted to disassociate himself with the hated tyrant Domus Aurora. The fine architecture lies east of the Roman Forum. It holds 50,000 of Roman citizens at once. It's a mechanical astonishment below. These mechanics would hoist up cages filled with animals or chariots ready to appear out of nowhere as if they came out of thin air. On sunny days, the Romans would put up an awning to protect the spectators. It takes up to 1,000 men to put up this awning. The Colosseum is 180 by 165 feet and reaches a height of 48 meters. The Colosseum also holds historic remakes of battles that the Romans won. For example, one of the battles, the Battle of Carthage. So come on down with your kids to watch the festivities that the Colosseum holds today. Now back to you.
Thanks, Shinene. And now, with a special report on the history of Christianity. Christianity emerged in Roman Judea as a Jewish religious sect in the 1st century AD. The religion gradually spread out of Jerusalem, initially enabling major bases in first Antioch, then Alexandria, and over time throughout the empire as well as beyond. Christianity shares numerous traits with other mystery cults that existed in Rome at the time. Early Christianity placed a strong emphasis on baptism, a ritual which marked the convert as having been inducted into the mysteries of the faith. The focus on a belief in salvation and the afterlife was another major similarity to other mystery cults. The crucial difference between Christianity and other mystery cults was the monotheism of Christianity. Early Christians thus refused to participate in civic cults because of these monotheistic beliefs, leading to their persecution. For the first 2 centuries of the Christian era, imperial authorities largely viewed Christianity simply as a Jewish sect rather than a distinct religion. No emperor issued general laws against the faith or its church, and prosecutions, such as they were carried out under the authority of the local government officials. A surviving letter from Pliny the Younger, governor of Bithynia, to the emperor of Trajan describes his persecution and executions of Christians. Trajan notably responded that Pliny should not seek out Christians nor heed anonymous denunciations, but only punish open Christians who refuse to recant. Suetonius mentions in passing that during the reign of Nero, punishment was inflicted on the Christian, a class of men given to a new and mischievous superstition. He gives no reason for the punishment. Tacitus reports that after the Great Fire of Rome in AD 64, some among the population held Nero responsible, and that the emperor attempted to deflect blame onto the Christians. One of the earliest persecutions occurred in Gaul at Lyon in 177 AD. Persecution was often local and sporadic, and some Christians welcomed martyrdom as a testament of faith. The Decian prosecution was a serious threat to the church, but while it potentially undermined the religious hierarchy in urban centers, ultimately served to strengthen Christian defiance. Diocletian undertook what was to be the most severe and last major prosecutions of Christians, lasting from 303 to 311 AD. Christianity had become too widespread to suppress, and in 313, the Edict of Milan made tolerance the official policy. Constantine I became the first Christian emperor, and in 380, Theodosius I established Christianity as the official religion. By 5th century, Christian hegemony had rapidly changed the empire's identity, even as the western provinces collapsed. Those who practiced traditional polytheistic religions were persecuted, as were Christians regarded as heretics by the authorities in power. Finally, the Byzantine Empire made Christianity its official religion and became a type of Christian theocracy. Okay, done.
Go.
Hi, I am Jacoby Shanks here with another fabulous product, the Roman sword. As you can see here, this little smudge mark, pretty recognizable signature. The sword has many upsides to it. It can be your average household things like cooking, cleaning, even sparring with a buddy. Ow. We have a great offer starting today. Buy this sword, get this one absolutely free. Separate processing and handling. $19.95 plus a free sword for shipping and handling. Call now.
1.
Hello, I am Brandonian, and today I'm going to tell you about all the Asian dynasties during this time period. First, the Han Dynasty. During this time period, this was considered the golden age for Chinese history. It occurred from 206 BC to 220 AD. The next, you have the Three Kingdoms. There are 3 parts of the kingdom: the Wei, Shu, and Wu. This occurred from 220 AD to 265 AD. This dynasty was famous for having several wars between the 3 states. The next dynasty on the list, the Qin Dynasty. This occurred between 265 AD to 420 AD. The country China got its name from the Qin Dynasty. The next are the Southern and Northern Dynasties. From 420 AD to 580 AD, there were several dynasties in this period. In the Southern Dynasty, there was the Song, Qi, Liang, Qin. In the Northern Dynasty, there was the Northern Wei, Eastern Wei, Western Wei, Northern Qi, Northern Zhou. This period was a time when China became allies with outside countries and developed their country. The next thing is the Sui Dynasty. This took place between 500 AD to 618 AD. This is when the Sui Dynasty took out the Qing Dynasty and reunified China. The next dynasty is the Tang Dynasty. This happened between 618 AD to 907 AD. During this period, China became united through trade in the city Chang'an. The next is the 5 dynasties, which include the Liang, which was 907 to 923, the Tang, 923 AD to 936 AD, the Jin, 936 AD to 946 AD, the Han, 947 AD to 950 AD, and the Zhao, 951 AD to 960 AD. This is when the northern parts of China went to war and there wasn't one dynasty in charge. Then last but not least, the Song Dynasty, from 960 AD to 1279 AD. The Song Dynasty took control when Zhao Kanjin grabbed power from a 7-year-old ruler in 960 AD. This was the last of the great dynasties to rule during our time period, from 0 to 1000 AD. Now here's Apollo with philosophy.
Hello, I'm Apollo Powell. It's nice to meet you, because this is the first day on the job for me, and frankly, I'm scared. Anyway, today I'm here at the birthplace of Epictetus. It's called Hierapolis Phrygia, and I'm here to see what it took for him to be a good philosopher. You see, he was a Stoic, and Stoics believe that the wise man should be free from passion, unmoved by joy or grief, and submissive to natural law. Epictetus was a slave, but he asked his master if he could learn philosophy. So he did, and he became a free man. He now teaches that philosophy is a way of life, and all external events are determined by fate. He also teaches that suffering arises from trying to control what you can't control, and from neglecting what is within our power. His teachings are very famous, and you probably already read some of them. Epictetus himself never wrote any of his teachings down, which is pretty stupid. However, his pupil, Arrian, did.
He states that whatever I heard him say, I used to write down. Oh, word for word as best I could, endeavoring to preserve it as a memorial for my own future use of his way of thinking and the frankness of his speech. Unfortunately, we were not able to get him or Epictetus for an interview, but we remain hopeful that they will agree to one. And don't go away, because we'll be right back after this commercial break.
Hi, are you looking for a new way to get water into your house instead of walking back and forth to the creek? Then get the new aqueduct system. It brings in new technology to mankind. This system brings water from the water source to your house, no matter what the distance is. No more walking for hours on end. This new system for getting water cuts that time in half. It makes you have running water and indoor plumbing. This genius technology was created by the Romans so they could keep water running through Rome instead of taking buckets of water to everyone. The aqueducts were created in 312 BC. Nothing is quite like the aqueducts. They are the most technologically advanced water system for getting into your home and taking disease-ridden water away. You can order these aqueducts made of brick, stone, or volcanic cement. Very little of the aqueducts show above ground. Most of it is underneath the ground. And if you order now, you can get the cistern free, which is a place where you hold the water coming from the aqueducts when they bring large amounts of it in. Also, we will throw in the maintenance crew for free, so you do not have to deal with all the continuous labor to keep the aqueducts up to date. There are also mobile aqueducts that you can take when you are on vacation, either camping or on a road trip. Many of our customers were very happy with the results of the aqueducts, have helped improve their daily lives. So call now, 555-000-11111, and get this great offer now.
1.
Oh, hi, I didn't see you there. My name is Jacoby, and I have some interesting facts about early Roman art, just written on these papers waiting for tell people. In Roman mythology, Diana was the goddess of the hunt, and her twin brother Apollo was the goddess of medicine, or the god of medicine. Here's a picture of them that I just so happen to have. Beautiful. Very peaceful. Well, Diana was associated with wild animals in woodland, and having the power to talk and control animals, she was equated with the Greek goddess Artemis. Though she had an independent origin in Italy, Diana was worshipped in ancient Roman religion, and is referred in Roman neopaganism and Straharia, Dianic Wicca, is largely feminist form of practice and named for her. Diana was known to be the virgin goddess and women. She was one of the 3 maiden goddesses, Diana, Minerva, and Vesta, who swore never to marry. Oak groves was especially sacred to her. According to mythology, Diana was born with her twin brother Apollo on the island of Delos, daughter of Jupiter and Latona. Diana made up a triad with 2 other Roman deities, Egeria, the water nymph, her servant and assistant midwife, and Virbius, the woodland god. Apollo was the god of the sun, said to drive the chariot across the sky every morning that pulled the sun up. Apollo was also the god of arts, such as music and dance. He was also the god of medicine and prophecies. Apollo had been variously recognized as the god of light and the sun, truth and prophecy, healing, plague, music, poetry, and more. Apollo is the son of Zeus and Leto, and has a twin sister, as you know, named Artemis, or Diana. Apollo is known in Greek-influenced Etruscan mythology as Apollo. Roman arts has the visual arts made in ancient Rome, and in the territories of the Roman Empire. Major forms of Roman art are architecture, painting, sculpture, and mosaic work, metalwork, coining, and gem engraving, and ivory carvings, figuring glass, poetry, and miniature book illustrations are sometimes considered in modern terms to be a minor form of art, although this would not necessarily have been the case for contemporaries.
1.
Hey, are you bad at math? Do you need help? There's an answer for that. The new and improved abacus. With this abacus, you can do math easily. No problem at all. All you need to do is move these little beads around. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at you can count all day. 5, 6, 6. All these. Look at this. All of this can be yours now. Just order now, $19.99, and we will ship this to you right away. This was first made in China, but now it's available to all Europeans. Everywhere. So now you can buy it for $19.99. That's a deal. Okay? Go out there and buy it now. Call now. Buy it.
Hello. Today we're debating what caused the fall of Rome. In my point of view, Rome fell because of outside invaders.
In my opinion, I think it was due to wars inside the empire.
During the fall of Rome, they were constantly under attack by invaders such as the Huns, Vandals, Germanic invaders, and the Indo-European invaders. All attacking Rome at once caused a weak military and the city of Rome to be taken over.
That is true. There were several outside invaders, but that did not affect the empire as much as the wars inside of it. They divided themselves up 3 times due to wars between each other. These wars separated them and made them weaker to take on invasions.
Yes, the inside was weak, but if it wasn't for the outside invaders, Rome and other cities would not have fallen, as in 455 AD. All of Rome had fallen to invaders except Italy.
But if there was no wars between them, they would not have been weak. They would have been united and able to fight back against the invaders. We'll let you guys decide what caused Rome to fall.